Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Now, I have been fortunate enough to speak to so many amazing people from a variety of industries, from motor racing to education, and also showing how technology is transforming our world in a good way. So while here in Vegas, I was genuinely excited that after learning that not only is Michael Sherwood, CIO of the city of Las Vegas, living on the edge of technology with IoT and edge computing, but he also agreed to share his story and talk about the digital transformation of Las Vegas. And I've learned from him that Las Vegas is a city exploding with growth, with more than 40 million visitors every year. But it has not only advanced digital initiatives, but it has also delivered real traffic benefits for residents and visitors and across all the areas of traffic safety and pedestrian protection, etc. So I want to learn more about that, the partnership with Cisco, and how that has allowed the city of Las Vegas to expand its data sharing strategy rapidly and securely, while directly supporting the region's integrated traffic management and transportation planning, all areas which I suspect you don't usually think about. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Las Vegas, where Michael Sherwood is waiting to join us today. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Well, thank you for allowing me to be here today. My name is Michael Sherwood. I am the Chief Innovation and Technology Officer for the City of Las Vegas. What does that really mean? I basically work and control and work with a great team of people on our digital assets. And that's everything from our computerized information systems that run the city, as well as some unique things that we do in innovation, such as our intelligent intersection program, our smart parks, and a bunch of other type of IoT projects, including drones and others that we are experimenting with, and really trying to make Las Vegas not only the entertainment capital of the world, which we know it is great at that, or fun capital, but also a technological innovation hub where not only can you do great things here from a fun perspective, but from a business perspective, there's a lot of great technology here, not just for the visitors, but for the residents as well.
And I'm looking forward to digging a little bit deeper on that with you in a few moments. But the city of Las Vegas is exploding with growth and more than 40 million visitors per year, I believe. But of course, the global pandemic shut everything down, and many questioned the future of the live events industry, both where I'm from in the UK and here in the US. So can I ask you share Vegas's journey and how great it is to be sat here alongside each other at Cisco?
I almost want to hug you. I mean, I haven't seen people that much, so it's been traumatic for the community. And I think, a lot of what we experienced, I've been coming to Vegas since I was a wee little guy with my parents at one point and then on my own as an adult. And I've never seen the Strip like I did when it was shut down. And those are people's jobs that were affected, their livelihood. I think some even questioned the ability of would live events in places such as Las Vegas have a future. I think now we've proven that there is a future here, but technology plays a big role in how we go forward. It also plays a large role in how we build trust and confidence with people coming here. And so, from the pandemic to where we are today, I think we're in such a great position for the future. And technology's been helping along the way, from automated check-ins now. You don't even need to go to a front desk. You can check in from your phone, head right in. We have 75 autonomous vehicles that go up and down the Strip. We have the Boring Company tunnel, which now you can, it's like for somebody in the UK, we're not anywhere where you are, but for America, it's a big deal to have a vehicle underground in a tunnel. And we're doing things that are kind of transformational. Sending information. Cars are becoming smart. Cars have intelligence. They have the ability now to start doing things, and we're feeding them information. So many types of things that from the pandemic now are finding their way into everyday life, which is having a huge impact.
And one of the things that I try to do on this Daily Tech podcast is help people understand how we're all surrounded by technology. And when visitors walk down the Vegas Strip, I suspect they don't think about the tech that makes everything possible. They're just looking at the wow factor of absolutely everything. So do you have any tech stats that you can share with us today about Vegas that will just help people maybe see Vegas in a different light?
Sure. Yeah. A lot of people, when they walk down the strip, don't really, to your point, don't see the technology, but it's everywhere around them, from the signage, the digital signs that you see, from our intersections, cameras, all types of different components. But let me give you some actual figures and facts. Currently, we have 29 what we call intelligent intersections. And these are not like your normal intersection. It's not just a red light, green light deal on a little timer. These are intersections that are actually, I consider them a living ecosystem, where we are counting the number of vehicles that are going through the intersection. We're counting the number of pedestrians that are walking across the intersection. We're able to find out how many near misses there are of a pedestrian and a vehicle impact. And so, which is very helpful from a safety perspective. The normal citizens are walking down, sees these boxes on poles, don't really understand all that's going into that. We have air quality and weather conditions. A lot of this information from the intersection perspective, we're sending to vehicles. I talked a little earlier about those autonomous vehicles. Those autonomous vehicles actually communicate. They talk to the light sends it information, and the vehicle sends back information. And so we're getting to that point where, like, we're having a conversation. Vehicles are having a conversation intelligently with our infrastructure. And with that infrastructure, we're not only able to get a lot of great data, but we're actually able to imagine, the changes we can make. As an example, a lot of times changes aren't made until in a roadway until there's a fatality or there's a major accident and someone's severely injured. Now, with what we're doing in our intersections and the data and the technology that we're there, we're able to actually get a robust amount of information that's helping us see problems before they become problems, and which is very helpful. Additionally, cameras are everywhere. We know they're there. We use them in so many different ways. We use them for looking at, in our parks, for trash. So if the camera sees a lot of rubbish or trash in an area, it puts in a work order that allows our field workers to go out and clean it up, looks for graffiti. So when someone just sees a camera and they think it's all focused on them, sometimes it's really not focused on the human at all. It's focused on doing its job, which is ensuring that you see big signs, lights, and great shows, and less trash on the street, less trash in the area. And so a lot of these technologies really help create efficiency, which is why we use the technology.
Incredibly cool. So just to explore, let's say, one area people won't think about, can you tell me a little bit more about the role of technology in improving traffic for residents and, and also visitors in traffic safety, pedestrian protection? It's a big topic, isn't it?
It's huge. It's huge. And look, everybody can relate to traffic. There's traffic everywhere in the world, and there's cars just about everywhere. And a lot of what we're doing is, it's not only about improving traffic flow, it's also about, are there ways we can reduce the number of cars on the road? And so by understanding more of our historical trends of traffic, can we make changes? And so a lot of the things we've been working on is for those autonomous vehicles, wouldn't it be great if we could tell the vehicle not only the traffic light that it's currently at, but could we tell it the traffic timing for the next 4 or 5 lights down? And that way it could control its speed. So imagine really going to your place of work and never hitting a red light. Wow. Because it's paced. And that's kind of where we're going in the future. We're not there today. So if you try to go down Las Vegas Boulevard today, don't email me or call me and saying that you got a red light. You're still going to get one. But we're getting closer and closer to getting that type of what I call futuristic mindset of being able to control the traffic flow. There's a lot of people that have maybe a visual impairment or a hearing impairment, and it makes it difficult for them to know when to cross the street or to know what traffic conditions are like. So we're working on every segment of the community using what most people have as a phone, being able to have that intersection communicate, which a lot of people don't think of, communicate to the phone. We're looking at other things using LiDAR. I think GDPR or privacy is a big topic for a lot of people. When I start talking about cameras and all this data, people start thinking about them and how we see each other. We're using more LiDAR systems now, which really just look at us as a stick figure. So there's no personal identifying information. But again, using that information. So as you're crossing the street, if it's on a green light and you're crossing, the LiDAR sensor can pick you up and we can go ahead and change the light from green to yellow and then to red, and hopefully help save. Or, obviously if you are in an accident, you're not able to enjoy Las Vegas in any capacity. It is not good for the community. If you're a tourist, not good for anyone in that regard. So again, using a lot of these systems to provide new experiences for our community, as well as new data and insights that really give us what we consider an edge over other cities. Again, our goal is to make this very enjoyable for everyone. And hopefully some of them enjoy it so much that they move here. And that's kind of the purpose of technology. And people don't always look at it that way, is that people choose to live in a city because of the amenities that are in the city. So if we offered amenities that no one else offered, maybe that business relocates here. Maybe that individual decides to call Las Vegas home. And again, for us, that's the more people that live here, the more tax generation it occurs, which allows us to continue to provide even more services.
And we were also talking about self-driving cars and the number of them that you have around here. So can you tell me more about automated vehicle technology? Because it's an exciting topic, isn't it?
It is exciting. You have to, if you have not, while you're here, you got to get the Lyft app, download it, and you can hail an autonomous taxi. Everybody, it's available to everybody, especially up and down the strip. A company called Motional is the major player here. They have 75 vehicles, but we have vehicles from Zoo, which is an Amazon-based autonomous vehicle, and several other companies that are all here testing autonomous technology. We also have some interesting ride-sharing services that are all electric vehicles. So there's a variety of intelligence and different types of options. Let's really focus on the autonomous taxi because that's the fun one to do. Look, I mean, it is getting to where you hail the vehicle via your mobile app. You get in. There's a driver currently in there for safety purposes. Right. But the vehicle, if you get a chance to do it, you do your podcast from it would be great. And let me know while you're in town too. There's another company that we have out here that is also doing vehicle rental. So we'll go back to the autonomous vehicle side, but let's talk about the vehicle rental. It's called Halo. So you go to the airport, instead of going to the rental car, you walk outside the airport and your car is there for you. It's been driven there autonomously, and this company's operating here today. They're actually doing it from a remote location. The camera is on the dash, and they're actually driving the car remotely. You use the rent-a-car, and you drop it off here at Four Seasons, and you decide to go home from here and take an Uber to the airport. They will take your vehicle and drive it back for you autonomously. Wow. So, and those are operating now, limited operations here in Las Vegas. That's Halo. Motional is the one I talked about earlier. That is the vehicle that has a human driver in there as a safety driver. And that is a vehicle that's actually moving up and down our streets. It, basically drives the whole way. It's fun. It's interesting. You do notice a difference in the vehicles. You'll see them. They have a lot of sensors hanging on the sides and on the front and the back. It's an amazing vehicle. And the great part about it is that you can, once you get in it and ride in it, you see the future and you really start thinking about, will I really need a car in the future? Or can my car, while I'm at work, can my car go off and make money for me? Go do some rides, do you take your asset and have it go work for you? And none of that's possible without the vehicle and without the intelligent infrastructure that's going to drive all this. And so it's really you want to talk about public and private partnerships. I know it's a big topic around the world, but that's kind of where you see that meld come together is when you talk about traffic and talk about streets, because it's a government owns the streets generally. Yeah. Commercial companies own the vehicles. And it's now, how do you share that information? Government does really good with the roadway. The private vehicles do really well with the technology, and how do we provide them the information they want? And a lot of the road data we're collecting, we're actually putting it out on our open data portal and allowing companies to use it for free. And maybe they come up with better ideas. But if you haven't had a chance to experience any of the different autonomous type vehicle company, you got to get out there and do it.
So the Lyft example, if you crack open the Lyft app, can you choose the autonomous option?
You may choose the autonomous option. So it's an option on Lyft on the Las Vegas Strip. You can choose that option, and it'll come and pick you up. They're BMWs. They're great vehicles. It's a very interesting experience. You will notice a little noise in there. There's a lot of tech in the back, right behind you in the trunk. Yeah. So you do notice some of that, but it is available to everybody in the public. We had an autonomous vehicle, completely autonomous vehicle, operating in downtown Las Vegas. 2017, we piloted it, and we did 40,000 rides, and that was just up and down Fremont Street, and people loved it. People would come just to Las Vegas for that, and so we're looking at bringing it back again and bringing it back to the downtown and doing some kind of shuttle service. So, these are all great projects that, as you look at it from a sustainability perspective, the more people we could use these type of shared services, less traffic, happier people are, and the more likely they're to come back again and again and again. And we want people to come on back.
And elsewhere, of course, IoT, edge computing solutions and advanced cloud applications are not something Vegas can explore without a partner. It's not something that you can do completely on your own. So can you tell me a little bit more about the partnership with Cisco and also the tech relationship and what it allows you to do?
Anything in business or in the world relies on great relationships. And the city of Las Vegas has prided itself in its partnership and relationship with Cisco. They're really that DNA, that ecosystem, I call them the intelligent infrastructure, that really allows all the great things we've been talking about, all the drones, the autonomous vehicles, the IoT sensors, all of that has to have glue that holds it together, and that not only holds it together, but transforms the way we deliver information and data. And that partnership's been going strong for over 6 years. We've done some of our most revolutionary projects. The intelligent intersection been a project we call Project Blackjack. Don't tell too many people it's a code. So all your listeners now will know when they come to Las Vegas, they can ask where Project Blackjack is, and now they're going to know our secret. That is Project Blackjack is the stretch of road from actually about this location here all the way down to downtown, the original part of Las Vegas. That whole roadway, Las Vegas Boulevard, is probably the most advanced segment of road anywhere in the state, if not in the U.S., as far as the intelligence that's built into it, the systems that we're testing, all that's built on a Cisco networking foundation. It's been a very unique project to Las Vegas. It's also a very unique project, and it's breaking barriers down of all the data collection, all the information, and bringing that in. And then what do you do with all of it? And how do you manage it? And so those things aren't able to be done by any one governmental agency. It's really where you have a great partner that helps not only understand your challenges, but helps us find the solutions. And that's really what we've been doing here for the last at least 4 years, specifically in our roadway components, has been really working towards using and leveraging our Cisco components. It doesn't just extend to physical hardware. A lot of people think of our Cisco relationship as only as a physical nature. Our relationship goes far beyond that. It's almost like a dating channel now. We're talking about the virtual side of things. So we're talking about edge computing, fog computing, cloud computing as well. There's so much we're doing of data collection at the edge. So we call the edge the fog, kind of the edge of the cloud. You have the cloud, the nice puffy big part of the cloud. Then you have the edge, so kind of a little bit less. We're doing a lot. So think of the roadway. The intersection is kind of the fog, where the cloud being the back end central. So a lot of the things we're doing require instantaneous data processing. And so being able to send that back to a data center far, far away isn't going to give you the end results that you're looking for. So we do a lot of edge computing or computing at the fog layer. And so doing it there, and from London, you guys understand fog, I know quite well. So when you're doing that, we're doing a lot of computations at the local intersection directly. So a lot of that intelligent infrastructure has its own processing power, its own capabilities. And so we're processing information. We're only sending metadata back to the cloud. The cloud, think of the cloud as the part of the brain that has the historical information. We're able to do long-term reporting, but none of all this could be sewed together without a great partner that has all the different components to bring this ecosystem together. That's really what we're talking about. It's a living, breathing ecosystem. I like to think of our intersection system and the technology there as almost humanistic in a lot of ways. It's making decisions. It's thinking about safety. It's thinking about enjoyment. And so a lot of these technologies are all weaved together to create this overarching smart cities foundation.
And just to bring to life everything that you've just talked about there, how important is technology and this relationship with Cisco to the whole Vegas experience and keep 40 million visitors flocking back year after year?
It's huge. I mean, technology is, we are and I tell a lot of people I meet, we are if you don't understand at this point in our world evolution, we are technology dependent. Without the technology, I don't want to say Vegas stops to operate, but the experience, the excitement, the energy definitely would be hindered by our inability to leverage and use technology. If all of our intersections went back to a 4-way stop sign, it could take 3 hours to get downtown. And that's not the experience we want to have. And so as we explore this technology landscape and continue to implement these technologies, having a partner that has the ability, that has not just and one of the things, we're doing is you don't want a partner that just has a local understanding. You need a worldwide perspective. Some of the greatest results can come from anywhere in the world, and we want to apply those results here in Las Vegas as well. So while we're pioneering a lot of things, we're also able to share a lot of things too, which is why we're doing the podcast and why we're talking about our journey, because it's not just a journey that we want to take alone. We want to share what we're doing and having a great partner that's able to work with us, understand our needs, and that has a large depth of experience is very helpful.
And is there anything else you can share about how Vegas will continue to bring this city to life with technology, with that special relationship? And what will it mean for visitors in the future, do you think?
Oh, there's so many great things. I mean, like you're already seeing some things today. I mean, look, the phone in our pockets is transforming the way we interact and receive services. The pandemic has made a lot of changes. Prior to the pandemic, we had a lot of people checking in here manually. Now you're checking in with your phone. And I'll kind of deviate a little bit here, give you some interesting, different information, is that we even are working with bed sheets. Bed sheets take a lot of water. So obviously, Vegas, we're in a desert here. Water is like gold. I mean, it is big. And so we're actually working with different companies and different things where we have bed sheets that are made from sustainable material that actually you use them one time, we shred them like paper and then reform new sheets again. Wow. So those are technologies that have been developed here that we're working on. So it's interesting. Cleaning services, obviously, with the pandemic, huge robotics and a lot of things. We have a robotic bartender. If you haven't had a chance, Tipsy, no plug for anybody here, but there's a great local establishment over at Planet Hollywood that you can go down and the bar is completely automated. Wow. You use a iPad type device, you order your drink and it serves it up. Remember, all of these things rely on a network though. Without a network, without the DNA, without the connectivity, none of these things operate. From the municipal space, you're going to see a lot more with drones, drone delivery, drones used for helping the community. We have automated defibrillators. So imagine if you're at a sporting event and you're having a heart or a medical issue, we'd be able to send the drone quicker than the fire department, get that drone, get that AED unit or automated defibrillator to you, and hopefully run much sooner. Looking at delivering supplies to other city facilities, as well as residents. You're going to see a lot more, again, traffic and intelligent infrastructure, huge. That intelligent infrastructure will bleed over into smart parks. You're going to see a whole different world here in the next 3 to 5 years. A lot more data and information for the citizen and a lot more information for the municipality to use in order to provide better outcomes.
And you mentioned sustainability a few moments ago. One of the reasons I was excited to get you on here, I was doing a bit of research before you came on, and I read that you talked about exploring digital twin technology for sustainability. I think it was at CES earlier in the year. So can you tell me a little bit more about that and what excites you about it?
So look, I mean, one of the greatest things is what if you could take your city and make a copy of it and then run different scenarios through it, but using data that's real. And so what we've been working on is a digital twin of Las Vegas where we can actually then predict or add things to the city. So we could take the city, how it's normally operating, take this digital twin and say, okay, 50,000 cars just entered the city. What happens to our roadway? And run it through, and it will give us an ability. So I'm giving you extreme ideas, but if you wanted to do maybe 5,000 cars, maybe with the growth, you say, hey, we've had 250,000 new residents move in the next year. What is that going to look like for our roadway? How is our traffic times going to change? And so now you can use this twin to run that data through and get a picture of what it's going to look like, and then say, well, you know what? What if we change the light timing on these 3 intersections? Would that help fix the additional people that are here now, vehicles? Would that change the outcome? So imagine having like a whole city that you can kind of play with and do different scenarios. And what you really get from that is that you get to develop the most efficient solution. You can try saying, I'm going to spend $1 million and put a brand new intersection in. Or, hey, I'm going to get rid of a stop sign here and that's going to make the traffic flow just like it did 3 years ago. Yeah. And so there's a lot of information and a lot of things that you can take advantage of with the digital twin that really could propel your organization. So they're not just for cities. I mean, well, we use them for city. Businesses can use digital twins as well.
Well, although we're sat here in Las Vegas together, we will have people listening in 165 different countries, this conversation that we're having. So for anyone that's inspired by this vision for the future that you've created and the relationship with Cisco and how you brought it all to life, how would they get in contact with you? Are you open to people contacting you?
Of course. I mean, I, if you can't tell, I love technology. I love Las Vegas, and I love sharing information and helping others make their communities just as fabulous as ours is. They can reach out on LinkedIn. You can easily find me there. I'm the curator of disruptive innovation is my tagline, so you'll know it's me. But you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. And of course, you can share with your viewers my email, which is on my business card I gave you. Yes. And you can share that with them too. You can give you another little opportunity to talk about it. But yeah, they can reach out. I'm more than happy to share. We also have a great website where we put a lot of our open source code and things that we do called innovate.vegas. And that website has information and details on some of the smart projects, we call them, or our future innovation projects that we're working on.
Excellent. Well, I'll add those links to the show notes so people can find you nice and easy. But just thank you so much for sharing your vision for the future, Las Vegas. How are you bringing it to life with technology and that technology partner in Cisco? Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
So today you've heard about the digital transformation of Vegas, but I know you're all listening in over 165 different countries. And I want to put where you listen on the map. So please, if you have a story similar to this or have insights that you want to share, simply email me or send me a WhatsApp voice message to techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn at Neil C. Hughes. And if you'd like to come on the podcast or I've got a question or just say that you listen and where you listen, whatever it is, please send them over. But it's time for me to go now. So a big thank you for listening as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.